So this is what we are going to build today. We have a micro frontend 1 that is hosted at localhost 4001, and this is a complete Angular application that is independently hosted. Okay, this is not dependent on any other application. Similarly, we have another micro frontend 2 that is hosted at localhost 4002, and this is a form. Let's say this is a form which takes email passwords. This is just a UI. I have not integrated the backend here. So this is the micro frontend 2. Now what I want inside my host application, I have one link mfe1, and whenever I click on this mfe1, I want this micro frontend to be loaded at my host application that is hosted at 4000, sorry. And by default we are at the home page, and this home page is included in the host application. So I want whenever I'll click on mfe1, I want this micro frontend 1 to be loaded here, and whenever I'll click on this load button that you can see here, I want this form to be loaded inside my host application. Okay, so if I'll click on mfe1, I want this micro frontend. See, we are getting micro frontend 1. It is working fine. And whenever I'll click on this load button, we are getting the micro frontend 2. So this is what we are going to create in this video. So watch the complete video and let us start. Hello everyone, welcome to virtualboard. So I've recently created a video on MicroFrontends so that I have posted few days back. So this was a mini project that I have created, and I was supposed to post the second part of this video, but I guess I have created this project in the latest version of the Angular. So there will be some version mismatch, and there was some issue with this project. So what I'll do in this video, I'll create a new project from scratch that you can follow on, and this time I'm using the Angular version 15 and Node version 16. So using these versions of Angular and Node, I'm going to create a new project. So there will be three applications. The first application will work as a shell for micro frontends, and the other two will work as the remote applications or micro frontends that we will expose and then later consume them into the host application. So let us start the video. So I have a folder. So this is a blank folder, and inside this folder I'm going to create three Angular applications. So to create a Angular application, I'll go to terminal. I will open a new terminal, and I will type ng new and host app. So this will act as a host application for our micro frontends. This is asking for routing. I'll say yes, and I'll select CSS, and then it will generate a folder, a new Angular application. Similarly, I'll open another terminal, and I'll say ng new and micro frontend 1. So this is the new Angular application by the name of MFE1, and we'll do the same here, and we'll create one more terminal. I'll say ng new MFE2. What are we going to do in this project is basically we are going to expose our both micro frontends, and then we are going to see how can we consume them into our host application. So the first micro frontend, that is MFE1, this we will try to expose and consume in our host application using routing. So with the help of routing, we will load this micro frontend and the other micro frontend MFE2. This we will load in the host application on the click of a button. Let's say I have a button in a component, and whenever I'll click on that button, I want to load MFE2. So these are the two scenarios that we are going to work on this week. And let me also show you the version of the Angular and Node that I'm using meanwhile. So if I type ngv in the command prompt, so you can see I'm using the Angular version 15 and Node version 16.2.2. Okay, so the installation and new application is done. Our host app is generated. Now whenever we want to add, see how are we achieving this functionality of micro frontend architecture? We are using module federation. So this is a plugin of Webpack 5 that we are going to use. So to add this as a package, what we have to do, first of all, we'll change directory, we'll move to host application. Now what we'll have to do, we'll have to add a package. We'll have to tell Angular CLI that we are going to use module federation, and how are we going to do that? So we have to write ng add at the rate Angular dash architects slash module dash federation, and make sure to specify the version here. So if I'll say 15.0.0, so this will install module federation version 15.0.0. And if you will not specify any version here, this will automatically you know this will automatically include the latest version of the module federation, that 17.0.1, and that will cause the issues when we will try to serve our application. Now what we have to do, we will have to write some flags here. So type equals to shell. Okay, then we'll have, so this tells basically module federation that this is going to be our shell application or the host application. Now what we'll do, we'll also add a project flag here to specify the name of the project. We can say host app, and we'll also add a port flag here. So let's host it at host this at port 4000. Okay, now that's all, and I'll press enter. So it will automatically generate. So first it will ask that this version will going is going to be installed in your system, and then basically it will generate two files, webpack.config.js and webpack.config.prod.js. So it is asking the package this will be installed and executed. So I'll say yes, and you will see here two files will be generated here. And we can also check this in package.json that module federation as a dependency will be added here. Okay, see, this is added here, angular dash architect slash module dash federation, and the version is 15.0.0. Okay, so we have made some mistake. We have to remove this shell, and I have to remove this shell, and I have to write here host. So this will be host here, and now it should work. Let's see. Yes, now it works. So instead of shell, we have to write host, and you can see we have two files generated, webpack.config.js and webpack.prod.config.js. So similarly, we have to do this for other two applications. So for that's all. So we are done with the basic configuration. Now what we have to do, just we'll try to run the host application to check whether it is running or not, and it should run on the port 4000, as we have already specified a default port to our host application. So let's see if it runs on the port 4000 or not. Meanwhile, what I'll do, I will create a module in the MicroFrontend 1, and we will be exposing that module from MicroFrontend 1. So let's say if you have a module in an Angular application, so how can you expose it? So I'll say ng generate module, and I'll name it as order. So model, let me stop this, and I'll also write the routing flag for this. Now you will see a order module generated inside the MFE1. Let's wait for a minute. The order module is generated, and I also want to generate a order component. So I'll say ng generate component order. So order component will also be generated here. Okay, so order module is here, and we have all the files. We have a routing file, we have HTML, TS, and CSS file. Now what I want to do, I am in the order routing module. So this order routing module will manage all the routings for this order module, and we have a app dash routing.module.ts file, and this file manages all the routing for this application MFE1. So I'll go to outer routing module, and I'll say whenever I am at the empathy path, the component that should load should be order component. Okay, and I'll go to app.component.html. I'll remove everything. I will write here router outlet, and I'll go to app dash routing.module.ts, and I will say path component to be loaded is order component. Just Just we'll keep this as it is for now. In order component, I can say h1. This is from micro frontend 1. Okay. Now let us run our application. Okay. So our host application is running. Let us open the host application. I'll go to any browser and I'll simply paste the URL. We can see our host app is running. Okay. Now if you'll make any changes to this, I'll close all the files. I'll go now. I'm in the host application and I'll go to source app app.component.html and I'll remove everything. If I will write h1 and I'll add this is the host application and I'll save this. So you can see this is the host application. Now meanwhile I also want to add the bootstrap class to it. So I'm not going to install bootstrap in our Angular application or in this application. We can see how can we will see it later that how we do it. For now I'll just add a CDN into our application. So I'll go to bootstrap. Okay, I'll go to W3 schools and click on bootstrap. I'll select bootstrap 5 and I will select navbar. Okay, so this navbar, I'll click on try it yourself. So this is the CDN. I will copy this and I will attach this into the index.html file. I'll save it. So you will observe that once this will reload or refresh, you will see there is a change in style also. See, you can see that there is some change in the styling. Now what I will do, I will go to app.component.html and I will add a div. I will give it a class as container and I will remove this from here and paste it here. Now you will see that. Now I also want to center it, so I'll say text center and I should I should take S3 and I will also give it a color. I'll say text primary. Okay, now this looks good. Now I also want to add a navigation bar here, so I'll go to the same link and I will copy the code from here. I will paste it here. Now if you will see, we are getting a nav bar here. Okay. Now let's make a small change. We'll change this with the name of our channel and here on the click of this link I want to load MFE1 and let's say on the click of this link I will want to load MFE2 and I will remove all the other code from here. We'll save this. Okay, so whenever I'll click on this virtual board I want to come into the home page. Whenever I'll click on MFE1 I want to load MicroFrontend 1 from another server. Okay, so I think our MicroFrontend 1 is also running. Yes, it is also running. So click here. Okay, so this is from MicroFrontend 1 as expected. Now what I want in the host application, when I click on this MFE1, this application from localhost 4001 should load inside our host application. Now how are we going to achieve that? So I will close this and first of all let's say in our host application I want a home component. I'll open another terminal and I will go to cd host dash app and now I want to create a component home in our host application. So home component is created in our host application. Now in the routing file, what I want to do is I will say when there is empty path, the component that should load is home component. I'll save this, and now what I will do, inside this home component.html, I will remove this and I will paste this code from here into the home component. I will save this. Now here I want to paste this navigation bar code inside a div. And to render that home component here, what we'll have to do, we'll have to add router outlet. We will save this and see. We are getting, see, just to we can write this is coming from home component, just to give you assurance that this is loading from the home component. So I guess you are getting till now. So whenever I'll click, so this is the home component for now, that is rendering. Now whenever I'll click on mfe1, I want to load another micro frontend here, and this should go, and this is from micro frontend 1, should load here. Now first of all, what I'll do, I'll go to close all the files, and I will go to the order. I will go to micro frontend 1 where we have order module, and I will go to app routing file. Now what I will do here, I want to load this order module lazily here by using lazy loading. So what I can do, I can say load children, import, and then I will provide the path here. You can now save this, and it should also work fine for micro frontend 1. So now, okay, it is working fine. Now what I want to do, I want to expose this order micro frontend. How I will do this? I will go to webpack.config.js file, and here I am going to expose this. So how we do that? So I will say dot slash, and I want to expose order module. So I will go to order.module.ts file, and I will copy this expose class order module. So I will copy order module from here, and I will paste it here. Now I will put a colon, again single braces dot src slash app. Let us over the order module to see its path. So it's src app order, then order.module.ts, src app order, then order.module.ts, and we will save this. So as we have done change in the configuration file or webpack file, we will have to restart the server. I will stop it, and I will do ng serve again. Now this will take some time. Now I will also tell you how can you check that whether this order module has been successfully exposed or not. It is compiled successfully. Now let us go to browser, and I will reload this. So it is loading fine. So we have no errors. Now just to check that whether order module was loaded successfully or not, we have to write a slash. We have to write a slash here, and we have to write remote entry.js. Okay, in this file I will search order module. So you can see this is all the compiled code that has been compiled in a JavaScript file, and this is the file that is being consumed by the host application. This is the minified version, we can say. So this is how you can verify. So basically whenever we expose our component, so it gets minified and it gets converted into a file, JS file, that has a default name of remote entry. So that is why we are able to see it here. Okay. Now I want to consume this inside my host application. So what I will do, I will go to host application, webpack.config.js file, and I will edit the configurations here. So I am just commenting this for reference. Now what we have to do, we have to write the name of the expose module. So we have a name mfe1. See, how can we see that? So we have named this remote application as mfe1. So that's why I'm keeping it mfe1, and then I will provide the path to the this remote entry file. So this is hosted at localhost 4001 slash remote entry.js. Now we will save this. We have also done the changes in the configuration of host file. we will also have to restart the server of the host application. So this is the host. I will do ng serve here. Okay. Now again closing all the files. And now what we wanted to achieve is whenever we are in our host application, let me show you. Whenever we are in our host application and whenever we click on this MFE1, then only I want to load this localhost 4001 or MicroFrontend 1. So I will go to app app.component.html and I will create a router link here. So let's say, okay, I will also edit this. In Angular, we do not use href, so I will use router link and I'll say whenever this is blank, I want it to redirect me to the home page. And I will also edit this router link. So whenever I say slash mfe1, I should be redirected to this microfrontend one. And now I will go to app-routing.module to edit the configurations. So I'll say whenever I am at this path mfe1, what I want to do, I want to do load children. This way. Now we are saving this. So what we have done here basically, whenever we go to this path, okay, we have done some error, I guess. So this is closed here. This is closed. Yeah, we could put a semicolon here. What are we doing basically here? Whenever I will go on this path, I want to load. So I have done load children, and what I am doing here, return load remote module. So I'm loading a remote module, and I'm loading it from this server basically, localhost 4001 remote entity.js. I have pasted the name of the micro frontend and which module was exposed. I have mentioned it here. So this will only load the exposed order module here. Okay. Now here we are loading the module and here we are catching the errors if we have any error just in case. Okay, now let us save and go to host application. It is running fine for now. Whenever I'll click on MFE1, so I guess we are getting some errors. Hello everyone, so let us see what are the changes that I have done in the app.routing file. So I initially I was getting error, so I made some changes in app-routing file of the host application. So see, whenever I am on the empty path, I want it to redirect me to home component. Okay, and then I have set a path here that whenever I am on this path mfe1, I want to load children and these things should be loaded. So I'm loading a remote module. So that is a type of module. So basically I'm loading a order module. So I have said type equals to module and I have given the path remote entry from where to load it and which is the exposed module and we are getting it here and we can console if we are getting any errors. Fine. Now I'll also show you the webpack.config file of the microfrontend one. So this was the order module that was exposed there. See, we have exposed it by the name of order module. So in the same way, we'll have to add it here also, like what was the order module exposed module. And if you'll go to the host application, so we have mentioned the name of the remote and its URL or path for remote entry file. So that this is all that I have done till now. So now let us go to the browser. See, whenever I am at empty path, I will be redirected to home. So this is our home application. And now what we have done, we have set a router link to mfe1 slash mfe1 that you can see at the bottom here. See, whenever I'll hover over this, so this is showing localhost 4000 slash mfe1 and when I'll click on this, so this is our micro frontend that is loading here dynamically and it is coming from localhost 4001. and you will see some change in the style. That is because we have implemented bootstrap cdn in the index.html file of host application. Now let us try to make some changes in this micro frontend one and see if it dynamically gets updated in the host or not. Okay, so we will go to, let me close these three files. Now I will minimize this and I'll go to mfe1. Okay, so this is being loaded currently. So what I should do here, let me create a div and provide a class container, and I'll place this inside this div, and let me give it a name also, wrapper, and I'll make it okay, I'll give it a name as wrapper. Here I will give it a class as text center and text secondary. Okay, now let us see how does it looks like. So basically we have not put any style bootstrap cdn in the mfe, so we will not see much changes here, but in the host application, see, so as this is getting global style from here, it is getting style from the host application, it is being rendered into the host application, so it will get the styles that are globally present into the host application because we have put the styles in the index.html file. Okay guys, so I have done some changes. I have done some UI changes here. So you can see I have added 4 iframes, and basically I'm rendering my YouTube videos here. How I have done that? So how I have done that? Basically, I have also included that bootstrap cdn into the index.html file of mfe1 also. And now in the order component, I have just added a div class with a wrapper, and here is the css of this wrapper. And let me, okay, we can leave it or we can make it red also. And what I have done in the order component.html, basically I've added, this is HR, this is the heading that is being rendered. You can pause and see, and I have added 4 iframes. Okay, that's it. So this is what it looks like. We can also give it a margin from top. So we'll go to css and we'll say margin top, and let me give it to 10 pixel. Okay, now it looks somewhat like this. So basically I've added a border so that we can see this micro frontend when it is loading in our host application. So we have made the changes here, and the host application gets automatically refreshed, and you can see the changes are reflecting here. Now if I go to the home, I can see this is the host application from home component, and whenever I click on mfe1, I am getting it from micro frontend 1. Okay, so we have done step number 1. Now in step number 2, what I want is I will place a button here, and whenever I'll click on that button, I want to load mfe2. So first of all, let us run our mfe2 and see how it looks like. So I'll close this. I will minimize this. Now let me open the terminal again. This time I will go to mfe2. I'll say change directory to mfe2. I will say ng serve. Meanwhile, let us try to see what we have here. So I'll go to app.component.html and I'll remove everything from here. And I will write only router dash outlet. We'll save this. Now we have app component.html. Okay. Now I'll just write one more thing here. I will say, I'll just add a paragraph. And I'll say this is mfe2. I'll save this. Now this is running at localhost 4200, I guess. Yes. So let's go and see. See, we are getting the output. This is mfe2. Now what I want is I should have a button here, and on the click of that button I want to load this mfe2. How can we do that? In my home component of the host application, here I will simply give a char here, and I will write h1, and I'll give it a heading that programmatic loading. And what I will do, I will create a div here, and inside that div I will place a button. And what I'll do, I'll assign a click event to it, and on the click of button a function call will happen, a load function will call. Okay, now what I want, there is a div and I will assign a template reference variable to it. Let's say placeholder. Now what I want is whenever I click on this button, the MicroFrontend 2 should load inside this div. Now we'll move to the TS file to write the logic for this code. So first of all, let us create a load function. So this was the function that will be called whenever we'll click on that button. So what this function will do, basically this function will return us a promise. The promise will be of type void. Now this is how we are loading the module. Here also we have used this function load remote module, and we have to enter 3 entries, that is the type, remote entry, and expose module. So if you'll go to webpack file or MicroFrontend 2, how we have exposed this? We have exposed this by the name of slash component dot slash. So I will copy this, and inside the TS file, I will say this was the exposed module. And to get the remote entry path, what I have to do? I will go on the browser, MicroFrontend 2, and I'll add slash remote entry.js. So this is the path that we have to paste inside remote entry. Okay. Now if you remember, this will still not work. So if you remember, if I'll go to home component.html, so we have created this div here. We'll also have to set the remote module that we are getting inside this div. So how can we do that? We will use @view child decorator, and this was the template reference variable that we have used in the div. Okay. Now what I have to do, I have to write here this dot view container dot create component, and inside this what I will pass, m dot app component. Okay. Now save this and let us go to the browser and check in the host application. I guess we have not saved the HTML file. Okay, save this. See, we are getting a button here. Now if I'll click on load, see, we are getting the values from MFE2. So this is how you can programmatically load the MicroFrontends component. Okay, so there might be a question that why we have exposed this by the name of slash component, why have not we exposed it by the name of by this name app component. See, we can expose it by any name, we can expose it by this name, or we can give any name to here, but when we are consuming it into our host application, so this is where we are consuming it, app.com, sorry, home.component.ts. So here we have to just in the expose module we have to place it like that, but when we are trying to get this component, then I have to give it the correct name. Here if I will not give the correct name and I will give app just m.component and I will save this, no, when you will try to get this you will get error. So I will inspect, and if you go to console, see, we are getting the error that type is undefined. So this is a common error that you might get if you have not done correct configuration here. So I'll save it again, And now if you will try to get this, so you will get the values. This is MFE2. Okay, now let us try to improve the UI for this MicroFrontend 2 also. So I will simply just click on anything to just copy the CDN from here, and similarly I'll go to the index.html file of MFE2 and I'll attach the CDN here. Save this. Now if I will go to a MicroFrontend 2, so we might see some changes. Let me refresh this page. I guess I have not correctly added the class here. Okay, so let us add this form. So this is the form that I am going to add here. So inside this div, I will simply paste this form, and now you can see this form is here. And let me align this also. So I'll say class equals to text center, and color will be let's say text info, and let us save this and see how does it look like. Okay, we need, I guess we should make it h3 maybe, h3. Save this, and let me also give it the class as wrapper. Border 5 pixel, dashed, let's say red. We can also edit this. Save, and now okay, I guess we have done some this should be pixel. Okay, now this looks better. I guess that was also looking better, I don't know. Okay, this also looks good. So this is basically MicroFrontend 2. Let me change its value to 0.5. Okay, this also looks good to me. Let me make it, text danger, and we can write HR here, and let me make it H2 and this as H3. Save this, and now you can see that we have a form here. And let me add a BR tag here. Now this looks quite good than before. Now refresh this page, and whenever I'll click on load button, so basically this forms load here. Okay, now if I'll click on MFE1, this is our MicroFrontend 1, and this is our home page, and whenever I click on load button, this is our MicroFrontend 2. So this was all in this video. We have seen how can we load our MicroFrontend using routing, and how can we load MicroFrontends using any button or events. Hope you like the video. If you want more videos on MicroFrontend, please like this video, share this with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching the video.